to another episode of Beards, Bourbon, and Whiskey. Of course, man, I got my man Bo in the building.
I say.
And of course, it's me, Q Lewis, man. We holding it down today, man. This is our 4th episode. We're excited to come back today with some Irish whiskey. All right, so today we got Jameson, or as they call in the hood, the J-Mo. All right, so if you're not hip to Irish whiskey, basically it's whiskey brewed in Ireland.
Brewed, distilled.
I did say brewed. Yeah, distilled. Yeah, my fault. Starting off wrong already. But yeah, so we're talking about Jameson today, and then we're going to get into some other topics as well, as we always do. So welcome back again. And don't forget, man, to hit that subscribe button so you get a notification every time that we go live. And also follow us on IG and on Facebook at Beards, Bourbon, Whiskey Podcast. All right, just punch that in. It'll pop right up. Like both of those pages and keep up with us, on the go. And also, if you got comments as you're listening or watching this show right now, just put them at the bottom and we will respond. We actually do respond to comments, and we appreciate those comments. So, I hope you're enjoying the season so far. This is the 4th episode, so we're about midway through. We do have about 8 episodes this season, so let's go for a ride. So look, this is what we're talking about today: Irish whiskey. I'm talking about the Jameson. Now, for one, I'll go ahead and tell you the truth here. This was my choice. I wanted to have Jameson on the show today, and I'll tell you the story about why in just a moment. But what's your thoughts on Irish whiskey as a whole, though, in comparison to like other whiskeys?
I enjoy Irish whiskey. It's not one of my favorites, but if it's there,
if it's there.
Certain brands are better than others or whatnot. But overall, yeah, it's good. I enjoy it.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Hey, what about the glass that you had? Hold it up for the camera.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, check out my little glass here for my Game of Thrones fans out there. That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Right.
Feel me?
Salute to Game of Thrones. I'm not hip, but I'm going to get hip. I guess everybody keeps telling me I need to get hip, so now it's 8 seasons, right?
Yeah, 8
So that's a lot of binge watching to do, so I can put that together and try to watch all those.
Tell you the truth, though, like you watch the first 7, and like maybe 1 episode of the 8th season.
Oh, the 8th season was lackluster?
Yeah, it was below average.
Below average. Okay, I got you. So if somebody had never watched Game of Thrones, if they watched season 8, they'd be disappointed.
They'd like, man, this whole whack show, man.
Right. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna check it out, man. I know it's probably a lot of killing and action and shit, so it sounds exciting. But for some reason, I just never got hip to it, dog.
A lot of killing.
Yeah, a lot of killing.
It's a lot of killing.
Right. Because back in those days, when people wanted stuff, they just took it, right? I know that's your thing, dog.
Set their family up for generations.
Set their family up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bust the bottle open. I'll go ahead and tap it and shit real quick. I'll let you do the honors. So, yeah, again, I know we say this every episode, but no, you don't have to spank the bottom of the bottle.
That's on the J-Mo. Go ahead, Chris.
Right, it's on me?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go
ahead. You got it.
We'll go ahead and pour up my 1.5 fingers. We won't do 2 all the way. Just a little bit. Smell it a little bit. Now, I know that you said that you don't really, like, Irish whiskey is not your go-to.
Yeah, it's not my go-to. I mean, I don't dislike it, you know. It's just not, it's not going to be my first choice, you know what I mean? Yeah.
For sure. How did you come across Irish whiskey, though? Like, was it an accident, or you were just trying it? Like, what was your first experience like?
So, we had these things, when I was in the military, we had these things called dining ins, right? Okay. Y'all probably seen the big balls in the movies and whatnot. Yeah. The fellas bring their wives and all that good stuff. Yeah. So like the dining ins is just for the people in the unit, right?
Gotcha.
And I was in the combat arms unit, so primarily just all a bunch of dudes, you know what I mean? Right. Just a bunch of drinking and storytelling and whatnot. So, exactly. But Sergeant Major came over to me. He's like, "Hey, sir, try some of this Jameson." You know, and like I heard it before.
I was gonna say, had you even heard of it?
Yeah, I heard of it before, but like, I ain't never had jam. Like Irish whiskey, like I don't know about that, bro.
Right.
So he's like, "No, try it."
Yeah.
And I got some pictures. I'll have to show you that later. But,
off camera.
Off camera.
Right.
But yeah, I got going. Like, I got going off the J-Mo. But
J-Mo.
My bad, the Jameson.
I know, right? Hey, I'm telling you, that's what we gonna call it, right? The J-Mo.
But but I actually enjoy it too, though. It's not a bad drink.
Yeah, it's just not your go-to.
Yeah, it's not my go-to.
I feel you. Yeah. So you got turned on because somebody else was hip to it. Salute.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Let me take a little swig. Yeah, this is my drink right here. A little later on in the show, though, I got a little mixture that we gonna try. Which shout out to my homeboy Justin. Used to be my supervisor many moons ago in my corporate life. And
corporate Cody.
Right. And he told me about adding sweet tea to Jameson. So I tried it one day, and today we're going to try it on the show as well. So if you ever heard anything like that, or even if you haven't, we're going to experience it today. So if you're watching this right now, you need to replay it later on. You can go ahead and grab you some sweet tea right now, and you can make the little mixture because we're going to do that later on.
There you go.
All right. Now, just thinking about the first experience with Jameson, though, for me, I think I told this story on another episode as well, but I was at this at a bar in Metro Detroit, or like, I guess, would that still be, that may be East Point. No, it's on this side of 8 Mile, so that would still be Detroit. So it's in the 8 Mile Gratiot area, if you're familiar with the Detroit area that's on the east side. And it was called the Huddle Lounge. So I went there, met a friend there. It's I think it was 2 dudes I used to work with, actually. And so we were there, having a good time, whatever. I went to the bar, and yeah, I was hitting on the bartender. And she was like, well, buy her a drink as well. So, me being in the friendly, festive mood back in those days. And festive, yes. So I was like, well, you call it then, what you want to have. And she said, Jameson. Now, for you had heard of it. For me, I didn't know what she was talking about. I'm like, Jameson?
Like, what?
No, I thought she was playing or something. Like, what is Jameson?
Right.
Like, I don't even. And see, that's why I told you, like, the cultures are so different. Mm-hmm. We came up on cognac. So if it wasn't Remy, Hennessy, or Martell, I didn't know what it was. Like, I just really was ignorant to the fact. So she told me it was Irish whiskey. And I'm like, Irish whiskey? Like, who the hell? Like, black people drink Irish whiskey? Yeah. So I'm like, man, let's try it. So she's poured up 2 shots, and that night, I had 4 shots. Hey, because it was good. It was actually good. Now, what I did learn now, though, for like bourbons and whiskeys, I'm not a fan of taking shots.
I'm about to say that. Yeah. I was about to say, you're talking to 2 fellas that don't really take shots like that.
Exactly, either, so. Yeah. I'm not accustomed to taking shots, so I'm cool. Like, I'd rather pour up and have me a drink. But I think that was the first and the last time I ever had any kind of whiskey in shots, I believe. We probably take real small drinks and drink them fast like shots, but they're not really shots. Yeah, dude.
We ain't doing that, right?
No, we're not doing that, no. So yeah, I got hip to it from there. So I've been kind of liking it ever since. And then every now and then I throw a little ice in there. I think it's smooth enough to go without ice. But what I will say too, though, is smooth enough, and this is something that we will explore in season 2. We're not really going to delve into this in season 1, but I think it's a good accent to some cigars. Yeah, I think it's a good accent to it, only because it's not overpowering. Mm-hmm. So like, you can still taste the cigar and be able to drink some Jameson as well. So that's one thing there. We gonna get into like more about cigars on the next season. So make sure that you do support our podcast so we can come back for next season. Make sure you do that. But yeah, so just thinking back on that place, the Huddle Lounge, though, right down 8 Mile and Gratiot, east side of Detroit. I was thinking about that place not too long ago because I actually rolled past it. And I'm thinking like, damn, that's where I had my first drink of Jameson. I was thinking about it because I knew we was doing a show about Jameson, and then I realized like it's closed. And I just started thinking about all of the black businesses in the city. I gotta stop my phone here really quickly here. We may edit that out. Just maybe. But so I was thinking about all the black businesses in the city that aren't in existence anymore, though. Mm-hmm. And I just started thinking about black business overall. And this is a question I want to ask you. I don't even know if we can obviously come up with an answer within this little 30 or 40 minutes. But, I mean, with black businesses kind of like on the decline, I feel like, well, brick and mortar black businesses anyway.
Right.
With them being on the decline, like, what do you think the black community can do to kind of save the black business?
We got to support, first of all, man. I mean, and like, I get it. Sometimes the customer service ain't the greatest. Sometimes we got to pay a little bit more money. Yeah. And for those that can't afford to do that, like, I get it. Your situation. Yeah. But I think support can be even like if you scrolling down Instagram, you see a black business, just hitting the like button. Yeah, just to kind of put it out there. I mean, they would like you to probably buy stuff and things like that. But if you put them out there and put the word out there too, that's gonna come. So I mean, I think the number one thing we need to do is just support. And there's apps out there for that stuff, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I get a little ping when I get to a new area to alert me to all the black businesses in the area.
Is that the Buy Black?
It's called Official Black Wall Street.
Oh, Official Black.
Yeah, Wall Street. But then there's WeBuyBlack.com.
Yeah, WeBuyBlack.com.
Yeah, and
like what was the other one? Official Black Wall Street.
Yeah, Official Black Wall Street.
Make sure you check those out.
Most definitely, and then
y'all check us out and sponsor our show.
Yeah, but I went to WeBuyBlack.com and like I get, I don't buy Tide anymore. I get laundry detergent that is some black, a black owned company somewhere.
Okay.
Like so you like type in, search. Okay, I'm gonna need this. Blah 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 blah. And if they have it there, they'll list it like boom. Yeah, they'll find you one. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. Mm-hmm. So you've been doing it ever since you found out. Huh?
Yep.
So you ain't messing with the Tide.
No, I ain't messing with the Tide no more, cuz no.
Do you remember the name brand of the black owned company?
I don't. I should know that. I should know that.
Put you on blast.
Yeah, put me on blast like that.
But we can find out.
Yeah. Go check. WeBuyBlack.com. Go check them out. Official Black Wall Street little app. Okay. No, yeah. I mean, even like the mom and pop, like services and whatnot. Like people do like business cards or flyers. They just put your information in there, boom. Mm-hmm.
Oh, dog, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
It worked like an app, so like it's got your location on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the area, it'll let you.
Yeah, if you enable location,
that's dope.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah.
Damn, what kind of okay? We need to put our podcast on.
Most definitely.
No, that's a dope concept though. I think it's definitely got to be. That's one thing. That's a one initiative right there. I think does have to be avenues like that'll give you more exposure. And like you said, a lot of times people feel like if I got a product, you should be buying it, and that's not necessarily the case because I know that every product is not for every person. Mm-hmm. But the idea is if you scroll across it, just share it. Right. Like I do that all the time. Mm-hmm. Like it's people on my timeline that I haven't spoken to in years. Yeah. But they post something about their business, I share it right quick.
You may not be able to do something about it, but the next person might be able to, invest or whatever, yeah.
Right, you're talking about Facebook where, you got like 5,000 friends, like, so let 5,000 people see it. Like, who cares? Right. Like, even if it's you got to have some faith in the product.
Right, yeah.
Share everything.
Put some hot garbage out there.
Right, don't share that shit, 'cause I'm not going to partake in it, but definitely, yeah, I think that's probably one major things. And what really... I don't know. I guess it kind of messes with me. I guess because I have a business as well, and I feel like a lot of people who have businesses are less likely, which is weird, are less likely to share other people's stuff. And I can understand like being scared of saturating the market on stuff, but at the same time, if you promote somebody that does something that you don't do, then why not promote it? Like I don't get it.
Y'all can always collaborate on something too, man.
Always, right.
If you put that forward like that, you get together like, hey man, you throw me these customers, I'm gonna throw you 5-10% of that revenue, that profit.
Exactly.
And there's all kinds of deals out there, cut. Like even if, like you said, it's same type of similar industries or whatnot, man. Yeah, just link up like Voltron on that boy.
You said like Voltron.
Like Voltron, cuz.
It's the weird thing about black businesses, and I'll just go ahead and say it right now, black people in general. We feel like everything has been overdone, and every time, cause I feel like that sometimes too. Like we do T-shirts and hats, and obviously our T-shirts will be coming pretty soon. Everybody loves BBW. Don't forget to use that hashtag. But we're gonna get some beers, bourbon, and whiskey T-shirts. And yes, there are 1 million T-shirts, and I don't think that you shouldn't be like deterred by the level of competition. The only reason I say that is because you can be like, I got this shirt idea, but 1 million people got shirts. And every time I think like that, I just think there's 1 million hamburgers too, but it's only one. Like it's still a hamburger at the end of the day. So that never stopped these companies from making fast food restaurants. So why would it stop me from delivering a product that I think, even though other people have similar products? And I think a lot of black people, I think we tend to kind of get into that area where we get in our own way by thinking like that. And I think that's what happens to a lot of black businesses anyway, is that they fail because we allow them to fail. And I think before, because we're going to touch on Black Wall Street a little bit, and the situation that happened in Tulsa in 1921. We'll give you some background history on that if you're not familiar. But I think back in those days when black people were, thriving and businesses were thriving, the opposition usually were the ones who destroyed those businesses. I think it's us, bro. I think we're killing our own business. I mean, like opposition or oppressors or white people. We can't blame them for a lot of our black businesses failing. I think a lot of that is us. I mean, I don't know. What you say about that? Yeah.
I'm not ready to say a lot of it, right?
Okay.
And only because.
All right, enough of it.
I'm not even ready to say that, right?
What?
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, because we
this
see
is our first difference of opinion.
Because we see every day, right now in the United States, in every major city in the United States, gentrification and whatnot. You know what I mean? We see that everywhere.
Yeah.
So the thing that doesn't make sense to me is black people are not. Everybody is not. They're not all making a concerted effort to drive down property values and be, have this, undesirable neighborhood or whatnot. You know what I mean? Like that's not their intention, right? And so to me, I think we need to look at it more, not so micro, but more macro. Okay. Like, what are the situations these people are being in, and then what's happening after that. So a city that like Detroit, where auto industry tanked and whatnot, right. And there was really no secondary or tertiary ideal to kind of to build up for that. Yeah. And then we see these same people come in and buy up all the land and do all this and then sell it back to you like at these astronomical prices. You know what I mean?
For sure. And just in case you're not familiar with gentrification and the way you just explained it, it's just like the dope game, right? So
that's all it is.
Let me give you one example of how sometimes, I'm not saying that this is right, but definitely what I probably would have done if I was a police officer, which is the reason I'm not a police officer. But I would definitely steal drug money, and I would definitely probably take drugs. And in the event, if I was that kind of crooked cop, which there are some that exist, but I would then sell that product back to the dealers at a higher rate,
even though it don't belong to you in the first place.
Exactly, and that's exactly what he just explained in gentrification.
And so that's definitely not us just doing that all the time. Like there has to be a higher system that's making the conditions right for that to happen, right? And so that's the only reason why I'm not saying all black people. Like I think that behavior is encouraged, about certain things we do, but from a macro level, no, I don't think it's our fault at all.
Right. Well, we got to take some blame, though.
Yeah, and on a micro level, yes, right?
But not on a macro level.
Individually, like I can go to, my son or my cousin or, the little dude that lives next door to me and share some knowledge with him, yeah. But still, even though that happens, unless I'm running for office or I know somebody or whatever,
then overlap.
Then the macro system is still what it is,
That seems a little bit pessimistic. Is that a pessimistic view or a realist view?
I think it's a little of both, right? You realize what it is, and you got to operate within it. But at the same time, I'm not one. I don't want to say I don't believe in hope, right? I'm not saying that. Right?
But I know some people who say they don't.
I hope. I believe in the hope and whatnot, right? But I think people can get so tied up in the hope sometimes that they really forget, what's actually going on. You know what I mean? What's actually happening right now today. True. And planning for the future is cool, but like I said, some like you mentioned a while back, some people live right now. Right now, they ain't worried about tomorrow, cuz what can I have?
They can't worry about right now. Exactly. I mean the future, because they gotta worry about right now. That's definitely the case, man. I think that put us in a position though. That put us in a tight position because you want black businesses to prosper, you want them to grow, but then at the same time you do look at the realities that a lot of these situations aren't attainable because of the environment, and that environment is not always an environment that we created. Exactly. So when you look at it that way, I can understand where you're coming from. And even when we did have those environments, like say for instance in Detroit back in the day when we had Paradise Valley, things of that nature, you had places where black businesses flourished, black people flourished. Like it was really a thing, and I think that kind of drips off into something we were talking about before we got on camera too, and that was just about integration. I think at those times, I mean, things were integrated during Black Paradise, but still there was a level of segregation still.
I mean, still Detroit was 85% African Americans in the city or whatnot.
Yeah. So I think
it's not higher.
Right, probably it could have been higher. But I mean, with that kind of numbers, they really were focused on black people, though. Black people were focused on black people. And I think for us, I feel like that was a good thing for the city. Obviously, if you know anything about Black Bottom and Paradise Valley, then you know that it no longer existed after they ran 75 through it. So that was kind of destroyed by that macro system you were talking about. But like things like that, I think maybe don't exist now because we've gotten to the point where we got that false belief that we've made it to something that we haven't actually made it to.
And I'm glad you said that, right? Because I was about to tell you, one of the things I don't like, right, are the black folks that's always saying, man, black folks need to do this, black folks got to do that, black folks got to do this. And meanwhile, I see you in and out of Walmart, Amazon, or whatever.
Right.
Come on, bro.
What are you doing to support?
Like I shop at Walmart and Amazon, you know what I mean? But for some things, right?
Yeah.
I just can't stand when people do that, man. I don't know why they just like, come on, cuz.
It's just a pet peeve of yours.
Yeah.
Nah, but what you think about that whole idea of integration though? Like, was it too soon? Did it happen too soon? Because it's something we talked about before, and a lot of times, man, I'm not sure if it turned out for the best. If integration turned out.
So yeah, I mean, there's anecdotal evidence, man. I don't know if I'm not sure there is real evidence out there, but you see how a lot of these communities were thriving, during segregation, before integration, all that stuff.
Right.
And in I don't want to say a lot of cases, but we see in some cases where, post segregation where, I got some more rights. I got this. I can do this and I can do that. But there's no wealth. There's no businesses.
Right.
You're still going to white folks for everything. So like, are you really better off or not? You know what I mean? Where before, you just going right down the street to your neighbor.
Yeah.
So I mean, from that standpoint, I would say that integration was not a good thing for us.
Yeah. You know what I think probably would have worked, and obviously I don't even know how you would articulate this, but I think the idea of integration. The idea of integration may have been a good idea if we would have been able to integrate and still keep the same drive, I guess I would say, as if we were segregated.
But yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So like,
yeah.
you be integrated to get equal rights and shit, but at the end of the day,
like what's your motivation now?
Yeah, we should still have that same motivation to help each other thrive. And I think that we lost that identity by trying to. I almost want to use the word conform. Like we wanted to conform to what we figured the American standard was.
Yes. Like that's like the perfect word, right?
Yeah.
Because when you talk about integration and conforming and all that stuff, and that's why representation is so important. Because when you're trying to go from I'm black and everything around me is black, to all of a sudden this integration thing is a carrot for you.
Yeah.
And the thing that you constantly see is white folks on TV, white folks in the movies, beauty is white, beauty is this and that.
Right.
And then it's not really integration anymore. It's like you're trying to become more of this.
Exactly.
And losing exactly what you are in the past and whatnot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's my problem with, the whole integration thing, right?
Because our identity get lost.
Exactly, man. And some people are going to say, well, well, my mom grew up in segregation time. You heard her.
Right.
And like, to her, it wasn't necessarily... The separate thing wasn't necessarily the problem.
Right.
It was the equal. Yeah.
Right. For sure.
Like you go to, like her little bad self. We go, use the bathroom in the whites bathrooms and all that good stuff. But
whites
because I asked her why. Because it's actually clean. Somebody actually cleans that one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. I don't think the separate thing is the problem. It's the equality part, the equity part.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's crazy. And then, before we get too far into it, I was just talking about black businesses and just relating that back to Jameson whiskey. So we're just pretty much looking at the originator or the founder of the Jameson whiskey is John Jameson, right?
John Jameson.
So then it's John Jameson and Son, right? And why that's important, though, why you should know the importance of that is that we're looking at generational wealth. And I think this is something that I won't even say just white people, but other cultures, period, have gotten really good at, to produce things and then that legacy going on throughout generations. And that's something that's certainly missing from us.
We see it every day in Southeast Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Because Southeast Michigan is the biggest population of Arabs outside of the Middle East. And they put their people on all the time. We see it on a daily basis.
Right, on a daily basis. And it's weird for us because we're really in a position now to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Like we're really in a better position. I won't say like the best position, but we're certainly in a better position. And just to give you sort of an example in an unrealistic way, though, I kind of hinted to that earlier. Sanford and Son, though, right? We were off camera when we were talking about that, but I mean, like you look at it jokingly because obviously it's a
sitcom.
Yeah, it's a sitcom. But I mean, Sanford and Son, it really is him trying to pass his legacy on to a different generation. And I don't think that we put enough effort in that area in order to try to keep things thriving. Like I've even had, and I think to a degree it's some of us, and I say us in this generation because I know some older black people who have businesses, and then I know like their sons and daughters who don't want any parts of that business. Like I don't want to do nothing with that. Like that's not what I want to do. And I get that, I guess, because I don't want to ever have something pressed upon me that I didn't want. But at the end of the day, though, like you still got to look at being able to do something with it because it is still a legacy of your lineage.
Yeah, become a silent partner.
A silent partner,
having your cousins or something around it.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Just don't let it fade.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't let it fade. Because you got people who own businesses like. They might have a landscaping business. Like, yeah, you might not want to get out and cut grass and them, but like this is y'all's business. Right. This is like your family's business. So even if you're not really running it, take some kind of part in it. Get somebody in there to run it and keep the name going. Though. Right. Because I mean that don't happen a lot. Because you're talking about John Jameson, right? From this Irish whiskey. The date they're dating this back to what did I say?
1608.
Yeah, 1608. Like so it didn't come. It wasn't nationally recognized until like 17 something. I can't remember what I said.
1780, I think it was.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Here, I want to try to find it really quick because I did.
Is it on the bottom?
Look at it. Oh, it might be on the bottom.
Yeah, 1780.
Yeah, 1780. So, but we're talking about 1608 though. They were able to keep this brand in their family for I'm talking them a lot of generations.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. We need to get to a level like that. And we look at a lot of whiskeys and a lot of bourbons. And with this alcohol thing, I mean, the lineage runs deep, though. Like, these people usually still be in power of their brand to this point. I mean, some of them, obviously, you got probably to the 1900s, early 2000, and they may have switched up ownership, that kind of thing. But still, even with that, that's 300 years.
Yeah.
That's 300 years. So that's at least. I mean, that's at least 3 generations. At least, like it could have been some more in there because people wasn't living this long back then. So I mean, that could possibly be more than that. Could be like 6 generations because you got grandkids and great grandkids. Like, bro, that could be a lot. And I think that when we look at these stories, I think it's even more intriguing for me. And it's not even related to liquor, though. It's just the lineage of things. Yeah. Like, that should be motivation for black people, period. And I have to be honest with you. I didn't really get, like, this militant or whatever. Or this interested in culture until experiencing the world, man.
Dog, like, when it really happened for me, I think I was in the military, man. Okay. And just, like, obviously, that there are certain things that you can and you cannot do while you're in the military. You know what I mean? And just to see how that power structure lie, and just like what the perceived thought of how someone should be versus how they are and whatnot, and just kind of analyzing that from because I was an officer, to be able to look at it from that standpoint, and being in a situation where literally I was held to a higher standard because I was a black officer than my white counterparts and whatnot, and like literally like had that happen to my face, over and over and over and over again, and. And then doing research and reading about it more. And like, James Baldwin was right.
Oh,
I was like, you're pissed off. You know what I mean? Like, hold up, cuz.
The more you understand what's going on.
That's my dude right here. I used to be Adrian College Carl, boy. I was at all the parties and whatnot. Hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And then, like,
you got hip to how the world work.
You drop those ways and you start to get smart and get a little experience underneath you. And you're like, hold up, dude. Like, exactly. I get that now. Yeah.
And my old man said it too, man. And I know he laughed about it now, but like when I first started going to school, I had a different perception of things. And he told me that, like, you'll learn.
Yeah,
You'll learn. I mean, basically, you kind of go in with all the optimism, and then sometimes the reality just really, for lack of a better term, puts you in your place.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, reality just puts you in your place, dog, and that definitely has happened a lot. And for black people that's watching the show, I mean white people too, but for black people watching
really
the show,
for black people though.
Yeah, really for black people. I don't ever want you to be discouraged. I mean, I know you look at the things that we had to overcome, or you know the adversity we had to overcome. And it almost looks hopeless. I know a lot of people feel like you know, they're very pessimistic. But at the end of the day, though, there is some hope. We just got to figure out a way to put things together. So I know I'm going back to the original question about black businesses failing and what we need to do to, you know, kind of keep those going. I think the first thing and probably the most important thing is what you initially answered that with, and that's just being able to share.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people understand how important information is. And it's just information.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? One day somebody might just want to read a novel about, you know what I'm saying? Want to read a novel about mass incarceration, which we have those right now. Those Brilliant Bastards, written by myself, Q Lewis.
Hey, I'm a voracious reader. You can tell by the words I use.
Right, voracious.
Hey, straight up though. Book on point, cuz.
Check me out, flipside-inc.com, man. Those Brilliant Bastards. Go ahead and check that out. You can Google it and check me out. But it is a novel about mass incarceration and its effect on the black community. But I mean, just things like just running across that, and even if you're not a reader, just sharing it.
Yeah.
Like somebody who sees it might be like, hey, I want to check that out. And not only does it give them some knowledge, some information, but also it helps out a small black business. So like, it's a double win for everybody. Like I said, if you run across my page, you will see a lot of like things that I've shared. Like I might not necessarily have bought everything, but like I'm gonna share it in case you want it.
Can I share a quick story real quick?
Go ahead. Yeah,
so
sure.
just got back from DC. You know, known as Chocolate City and all that good stuff, right? So you know, on IG, I got wind of this black-owned business called Mahogany Books. Okay. And I followed them on IG for a little bit, kind of see what they're talking about. Like real good people, like married black couple, you know, owns this business, and they got a real present online business actually. So you know, I bought a few books through them online.
Oh, one of the ones that you posted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, before that, I actually bought these in person.
Oh,
that's where I'm getting. But so you know, but before I get out in DC, I just sent old boy, you know, quick DM on Instagram, like, hey man, appreciate what you do for our people, blah blah blah. You know, I'm gonna be in DC. I'm gonna come check y'all out. You know,
okay, right.
And he was like, "Cool, man. Stop by whenever time, right?" Yeah. And so, and what was so dope about this neighborhood I was in, it was this building. It's like they called it like the Art Community Center, right? Okay. And this building supposedly, so I'm not sure if it was owned. I think it was owned by a black person or a black person's in the ownership, one of the two.
Gotcha.
And it was like multiple like black businesses in this little building, like a little commune. Right. It was dope. And so. Walked in there, Mahogany Books is on my left, you know, went in, was like, hey, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So, what's up, man, this and that. We got to rapping a little bit, and talking about a couple books, and like, it was just real dope just to see, you know, that, you know, somebody just genuinely that, you know, a black person genuinely that passionate about their business and whatnot, you know.
And you were able to make that connection.
Yeah, you know, bought some books from them and whatnot, and you know, gave them my info, and you know, and just build that network right there.
So it was a good experience.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Right. See, that's a very good plug, especially you know for your writer friends.
Check them out, Mahogany Books on IG.
That's what it is on IG.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna follow them right after we get out of here. But yeah, definitely, I think that situations like yours not only need to happen more, but then people telling stories about that need to happen more too.
Right.
Because you might not necessarily run across this on Instagram. You might not see an advertisement about it. So word of mouth is the best thing. That's what worked for us before. So we got to stop relying on I guess I would call it mainstream advertising to get our thing across. I mean, at the end of the day, we were able to communicate with so many people during the during slavery. Mm-hmm. I hate to take it to this guy. I really hate talking about slavery, but I mean this is why the Underground Railroad worked, because we were able to communicate under the radar, right? So I think that this is still something that needs to be done. Everything not going to go through mainstream. Every white major white company is not going to push for you. So we have to push for ourselves. And a lot of times sharing that information amongst each other is what we need. It's just like right now, this is a great information exchange right here. So even if you hadn't at any point, what if you just looked at the Instagram and you just like how they presence and you just happen to want to go meet them and you never bought a book?
Right.
We're still getting blessed with this information. So somebody who's in DC right now can pull up physically to the store, or you can follow them on IG and purchase some books there. Like they got the knowledge now, something they wouldn't have had even if you hadn't bought anything. Right. Like, this information is still valuable, and I think that's where people get lost on it. Like I see these posts all the time, and to be quite honest with you, I mean I was doing that beforehand, but I think I did when I started seeing more of those posts. I started doing it more because I was like, yeah, maybe let me do my part. Like, how hard is it to click share? Like, I mean, if you scroll it,
right?
You scroll and just hit share.
It may not be for me right now, but it might be for the next person. You know, that's all it is.
Information is valuable, dog. So any way you can help, I think it's definitely a way to go, whether you purchase it or not. I think that's the scary thing about where we're headed and why I think sometimes it looks so dismal. Like we're not going to be able to like really quote unquote overcome because of that. I think it's tough for us to really create unity. That's crazy to say, right?
Yeah, it's crazy to say, but I think our expectations are crazy too. So, and what I mean by that, because I probably got a whole bunch of I don't like that. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is this, right? So, again, black people, very diverse within our own culture. You know what I mean? Not everything's going to appeal to everybody. Not everybody's going to look at things the same way, same situations, or the fixes to those situations the same way.
Right.
So, like, do what you can. Again, like I've said this before, get your 10%, man. Do what you can within your circle, you know, and just network and spread from there. You don't have to get everybody on board first. You don't have to have 100% solution to start. Right. You know what I mean? We'll get there, but like, I think that's the expectation. You know, we want to see the whole picture laid out in front of us right now. And that's not going to happen.
That's never going to happen.
So that's why I think we got to adjust our expectations a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And if you're waiting on that to happen, we're never going to be moving.
Exactly.
Definitely. Now, speaking of perceptions, and everybody's perception being different, everybody's taste being different.
Yeah.
We're going to try this, all right? So we're going to add a little bit of pure leaf sweet tea to the Jamesons. All right, so Jameson has a pretty light taste as it is, so it's not too bitter. A little bit of this sweet tea is going to change it up just a little bit. So if you're watching right now and you got sweet tea, or if you don't have sweet tea, you can run out later on and grab some. But yeah, we're just going to put like a little, just a little bit, not too much.
As my man Tony Baker would say, let me dabble.
Right, yeah, dabble in there, right? Put a little dab.
A little dabble in this, boy.
Yeah, so you add that in. And you can see what the taste is a little bit different. So it's just a little bit sweeter. Usually I have a little ice in it, so. Yeah, it takes it down just a small notch, like not a lot.
It's dangerous, cuz.
Yeah, because it's too smooth, right? Yeah, exactly right.
I want a little bite in it, you know, like yeah.
Once you pour that in there, it's no bite. Yeah, it's no bite.
I want a little, hey, hold up, cuz. All right, you know.
Yeah, those are the kind of drinks that stick for you. So yeah, definitely give it a shot, man. Sweet tea with the Jameson. It takes basically all the bite out of it. But yeah, it's good though, right? Right, yeah. It actually tastes pretty good. You throw a couple of ice cubes in there, it's even better though.
If you're on vacation or you trying to get us like turn up one night?
Right, turn up.
It's not the way to go. You know?
Right, it is. It's a good way to go.
Turn up, you know?
It's a nice little summertime drink too. I think it's nice, cool, and a little sweet. Almost like a spiked iced tea almost.
Almost,
like, almost a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, check that out, man.
I don't want to say spiked iced tea though, like with another dude that's close to me.
Right, I know. We took it a little too
Jameson was what I see it, y'all.
Right. Got a man back up, like, right, the J-Mode.
The J-Mode, cuz.
No, but we get ready to wind it down, man, and finish our drink, though. But before we do that, man, I just want to talk about, just a little bit before we get back out of here, about the Irish whiskeys, and kind of like, I know this is not your go-to for real. Irish whiskey isn't. So in a level, or if you had to like grade whiskeys, bourbons, scotches, like where would Irish whiskey like line up?
Like if I had to give it a grade, it'd be about let's move about like 2.5, 2.4. You know,
okay.
Not really showing off, but you're doing enough.
Enough. Yeah,
you're doing enough.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Is it anything that you would like let me see. How do I want to ask this? Basically, I just want to know as far as Irish whiskey, if it was between that and anything else. Like, is it anything else that you definitely wouldn't drink but would take the Jameson? Because it sounds like Jameson is like your last. It's almost like it's your last on the list. Is there anything that you definitely wouldn't take?
The last on my list actually would probably be Jim Beam.
Jim Beam.
Yeah. That would probably be the last on my list.
And we haven't done Jim Beam. I'm not even sure we're going to do.
You might.
I mean, we might have.
You might be. I might have me.
Maybe in season 2.
I might have me some Blantons over here while you doing the Jim Beam, because you know what I mean.
And real quick to say, it had nothing to do with Jameson, but we had a comment on the very first episode about what was it, Jack Honey.
Oh,
the Honey
yeah.
Jack, right? And you completely got mad about that. So, what's your idea about the Honey Jack?
I want y'all. Okay, I'm gonna tell everybody this right now. Okay, if y'all ever see me drinking Honey Jack, just drop whatever you're doing and just slap the shit out of me right there. Okay.
What's wrong with Honey Jack?
For me, everything.
Everything. I've had it before.
I see it as more as a
girl drink.
Yeah, like the black girl White Claw, whatnot. You know what I mean?
Wow, straight up though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I had it before. It's decent. Yeah. I mean, so what's your take on flavored whiskeys? Period. Just not a way to go. Period.
You can keep. No, I ain't gonna say not a way to go. For me, I don't want nothing to do with it. Nothing. Okay. I'm good.
All right, we go.
Y'all might like it.
Right. Go so y'all might like it. Go for it.
I don't want nothing to do with it.
All right, man. I guess we gonna go ahead and wrap it up then, because he ain't fooling around with no flavor whiskey. So obviously, flavor whiskey would be on the bottom shelf for him. So we ain't gotta worry about that.
When he ain't be in the crib, bro.
Right. All right. So look, this is your thing, man. If you've had whiskeys and bourbons before, and you're just getting into Irish whiskey, I would think that Jameson would be ideal for a first time tryout with the Irish whiskey.
I agree.
It's not too strong, so you really don't have to put ice in it. But if you do put ice in it, don't put too much, because I feel like the taste isn't strong enough to withstand a lot of ice.
And then second of all, you're going to get white girl wasted, because you ain't going to notice the taste.
You ain't going to notice, exactly. That's definitely something that can happen with that, so you got to be careful. Now also too, in the summertime or even in the wintertime like it is currently, go ahead and try a couple of drops of sweet tea into it. Put some sweet tea in and a couple of cubes of ice, and it's pretty dope. It's a nice little chill drink, you know what I'm saying? So you can have that. If you don't want to turn all the way up, just have 1 or 2 glasses. If you have more than that, then I'm pretty sure you go all the way turn up. So be careful. Always drink responsibly. All right. So that's something we hadn't said in the past 3 episodes.
Oh yeah.
But right now, definitely always,
y'all.
Yes, always drink responsibly.
Uber, Lyft,
right, Lyft, all of that.
Checker cab, whatever.
Checker cab, dog. On that note, man, we up out of here, man. I want to thank everybody who checked us out today. Beers, bourbon, whiskey, dog. Everybody loves BBW.
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Right. You already know what it is, man. Thanks for checking us out, man. Till the next time, my man Bo is in the building.
I say.
And of course, man, it's your boy Q Lewis. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave comments. We'll talk about it next time, dog. Till the next time, y'all. Everyone loves BBW. Peace out, y'all.